You guys are talking. You're coughing.
I'm sorry.
It was.
I can't control.
It's because we didn't have a snow day. I just
didn't go. I don't know if I can say that.
Right.
It's okay.
I went to class.
It's all right.
Yeah, he did.
All right, let's jump right into our first topic of today. Wrestling. Last night, Penn State defeated Rutgers 35-3 in the 2024 BJC duel. They improved their record to 10-0 now, and this was the 1,000th dual meet victory in Penn State wrestling history. What do you think about this team, Rocco?
They're loaded, obviously. What else would you expect from the champs? Obviously, the number one team in the country. They just destroyed number 14, made it look easy. They just destroyed Iowa. That was their closest match of the season, and I believe it was 29-6. That was the number 3 team. Right, number 3 team in the country. As I was saying, Cade, and you interject.
Sorry.
I love that. We're on the same wavelength, right? Obviously, this team's loaded. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do the rest of the season. I have my expectations, what I think they're going to do the rest of the season. I think they live up to it. I don't know. We'll see.
Kylie, what do you think?
I think no surprise here. I agree with everything Rocco said. This is what this team's been doing all season. Why would you stop now? Great atmosphere, great crowd. Just the whole idea around the whole duel there is awesome. And I just feel like their willingness to work, be there, compete, get better every week, it just shows every single match that they take on. And I'm so excited to see how the rest of the season ends, which I think will end on a very high note.
Cade.
There's not really much else to say. The team, they're rolling right now. Mm-hmm. Levi Haynes had another great match. Yeah. Although Bo Barley, it was close, a little bit close there. Yeah. Another thing, though, I know they don't, it's normally in the rec hall. Do they normally have replay review in the BJC? Because they didn't last night.
Yeah, I heard it was a big controversy.
So I don't know if that's just because they were in the BJC and BJC never does, but why wouldn't they? So
I think they were supposed to, but something went wrong. I read an article about it.
So
it was a whole mess.
It benefited Penn State, but at the end of the day, they still won 35-3. It didn't matter. Yeah, but I just thought that was interesting.
I think a big highlight too, Braden Davis, freshman, ranked number 2. And he fought and won against Dean Peterson. So I think that's a big person to think about as well. But, doing really well. Good job wrestling, and continue on. Next topic, Penn State lacrosse. Big topic. We are, quote-unquote, back. Penn State's men's lacrosse beat Villanova on Saturday for the final score of 18-10. This was a comeback after they lost to Colgate. What do we think, Cade? I'm going to start with you on this one.
Offensively, they looked a world better. When they played Colgate, they were fully healthy. TJ Malone got banged up in this game. Hopefully, I don't know what the injury is, what the timetable is on that. Hopefully, he comes back healthy. That Colgate game, they didn't look right on offense at all. They were, I said it last week, they were dropping passes, everything. This game, they were crisp. I think they changed up a little bit of how they went about it. But Kyle Lehman, the freshman, I think he just won Big Ten Freshman or Week, something like that. And Matt Trainer just won Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. 6 goals. They were rolling offensively. Defensively in the fourth quarter, I think they kind of, took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit. But other than that, I thought they played great. I do think they're going to have some trouble in the face-off dot this year. They had some trouble against Villanova. They were switching between Colby Baldwin and Chase Mullins. I'm interested to see how that will play out because somebody needs to take over. And if not, when they play Yale Cornell, I don't know how it'll be. But right now, I like it.
Kylie, what about you?
I agree. I really like this. Penn State lacrosse is one of my favorite sports to watch. I hate to be like this, but this was a game that they should have won and did win. This was not a game going in where it was like a nail-biter. If they didn't win this game, it was going to look way worse than if they did. I like Villanova. I'm a Villanova girl, but they should have won that game the way that they did. I think they needed this. Like Cade said, going into the rest of the season, they have Navy, Yale, and Cornell back to back to back. That is going to be a tough string of games, and I think just going into stuff like that, they need to know that we can do it, we can put it together as a team. So I definitely think we saw that this weekend, but tweaks, little things here and there that I still need to be fixed. But overall, I think this was a good weekend for them.
Rocco?
Yeah, overall, you guys kind of just summed it up really well. After dropping that game to Colgate, you're thinking, ooh, that's a little skeptical. What are we thinking here? But I think that they bounced back really well against Villanova. You guys mentioned the face-off dot was kind of a concern defensively. I think could have been a little bit better. Offensively, A-plus grade, though. Can't really complain anything on that end. I think that's kind of like you see it in the NFL every now and then where a team starts the season a little bit slow. They maybe play down to their competition. Once they get things going, then that doesn't really happen as much. We'll see if that's the case. I think that's going to be the case with men's lacrosse. I think they probably just start a little bit slow, just weren't, getting into it early on in the year, but after suffering that loss.
It is the start of the season, too. Right. So definitely some building up, and then potentially, hopefully, they'll be back in the same position as they were.
Can I add one more point? I'm sorry. One more point. Like I said, they need to get healthy. Obviously, Malone got banged up.
Yeah.
But defensively, they're still without Posey. They're without Kevin Parnham, and they're out without Sickler. Sickler's probably, I mean, Haas is up there too, but when you're talking Dean Biddy, that's probably three of their four best defensemen in whatever aspect you want to look at. So that's probably also why the defense doesn't look as strong, but they need to get healthy.
Yeah.
And those players other players will definitely step up, and we'll see how the season analysis goes. So speaking of lacrosse again, women's lacrosse, they just beat Bucknell 22-8 in their home season opener, and Christian O'Neill scored 6 goals. Big game, big game. I know, Rocco, you were there to see it, so how was exciting for it?
Well, obviously it was kind of awesome because we were expecting this game to be at Bucknell. They changed it yesterday and then moved it to Aluba Hall, so we were indoors, which was great. You know, warm, no weather was a concern. They move it here, home opener then. They beat Bucknell last year. They beat them again this year. 22 goals. It was their highest since 2018. A remarkable offensive output from Kristen O'Neill, who you just mentioned, with 6 goals. A lot of other players chipping in, 11 total goal scorers. I mean, you got support coming in from the freshmen, from the seniors, from all levels. The thing that I thought was notable, though, the freshman Sydney Williams, the goalkeeper, she got the start over Ashley Bowen, the junior. So that's a little interesting. They were talking after the game with the coach. You know, they were saying it's going to probably be a tight race, a tight battle between who gets that starting job. I went to Sydney yesterday. We'll see if that keeps up. They said they're going to keep evaluating in practice. We'll see what happens going forward. But yeah.
Okay.
I think this team is off to an amazing start. As someone, I didn't play it for years, but as playing women's lacrosse, this is one of my favorite sports to watch. I think they have a huge age range, which is going to be so beneficial for them over the rest of their season and going forward. To not have lost, like we were just talking about, to not have lost a huge chunk of girls puts you at such an advantage over so many other teams. And they have Colorado, Pitt, and Princeton coming up. So I think this was a great stamp, a great way to start off their season. They're coming out strong on top of all of that. And I can't wait to see what they put together. And, you know, the battle for those positions, like Rocco said, is just adds to the energy of this team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. 22 goal. Kristen O'Neill is probably a top 5 goal scorer, like pure goal scorer in the country.
Absolutely.
Third-team All-American, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you look at everything else. Megan Murray's still there. Burkos is still there. We were just talking about defense for the men's. Defense for the women's is in Ellie Holland, Haley Urgo, Sammy Dupac. Those are like 3 legit, some of the best defensemen in the Big Ten. I mean, they let up 8 goals. That number's probably going to go down as you know, they play more.
Right, other teams.
I mean, I think they should probably have a better season than last year because it's another year of experience for all the people that have been there.
Absolutely.
Getting the young girls going through. So I don't know. I like it. I like what I see out of them.
And this freshman class is very, very good. I mean, you even said it as well. Freshman goalie being put in over a junior. Just to see that class coming in is, I don't know, I'm excited to watch the rest of the season turn out.
Yeah, I think Kate said it well. I mean, 11-7 last year. Expectations are a little bit higher now. They got a game against number 1 Northwestern in the middle of the season that I'm obviously looking forward to. That's going to be really where they're at in the pedestal in the rankings. There
brutal last year.
I know.
Like
well, that's
20.
exactly. I think they lost by 10 last year.
Yeah.
So that'll be the game. You see, all right, what's really the progress that they made?
Yeah.
That's March 22nd. So a long time until then to get ready for it.
Is that marked on your calendar already?
It is marked on my calendar because I'm calling the game.
You can get the alerts, everything.
Yep, easily. I'm excited for it.
All right, switching on, we're going to Penn State hoops now. Both teams barely lost this weekend. Men's team lost to Northwestern, at Northwestern, correct?
Yep.
And then the Lady Lions falling to Wisconsin. Thoughts about these games? Cade, let me start with you.
Well, I mean, we sat here last week saying how great the women's are. They've now lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I'm not really panicking, but 3 in a row is you can worry a little bit about it. But I think they'll be fine. I think they play Illinois next. I mean, it's at home, I'm pretty sure, too, right?
Yes.
I think so,
I'm asking a bunch of questions. But I think
You got it.
after 3, they're a good enough team to bounce back. And then for the men's, I mean, you're seeing Kanye Clary coming back from injury, and he's not getting as much time as we thought he was going to. I mean, I honestly thought he was just going to come back and just slide right back into the starting lineup. But Ace Baldwin's been stepping up. Yeah. Obviously, it was tough. I mean, it was, a 1-point game with 3.5 left to go. Yeah. In that Northwestern game, they just couldn't get it.
Final score was 63-68, right?
Yeah,
Is
lost
that
by
what it is?
5.
So
Yeah.
the men's, I think at this point, we said last week, it is what it is. For the women's, I still think the whole season's ahead of them.
Yeah.
Kai?
I definitely agree. I mean, this women's team is now 16-8, so there's so much room still for anything to happen. And after the beginning of the season that they had and how well they were doing, I'm not going to count them out, especially looking at the upsets that have been happening and the way other games across the whole women's division of basketball has been going. as far as the men's team goes, I'm not surprised here at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to talk down on a team this much, especially when it's a team at a school that we're all a part of. But at this point, like, you can say this team has a lot to work on, but I feel like it's a lost cause. There's some disconnect somewhere, and I know Coach Rose is trying. It's hard. It's your first year. It's hard, but there's something missing. And it could be on the court, it could be off, but they need to figure it out because they're 12-12 at this point. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from this now. And it stinks to see, but it's no one else's fault but theirs, so I don't really feel that bad.
Okay, so I mean, it's kind of a tough outlook with the men's team. You know, obviously they're sitting at 500. They've been there throughout the course of the season. They're probably not making the tournament. However, you mentioned it's Coach Roach's first season, so the expectations, we kind of have to level them a little bit. We're not expecting them really to make a tournament run like they did last year with Shrewsbury. Let's give them some time. You know, let this roster gel. Let them recruit a little bit more. See what he gets going in the future years. So, as far as the current team, what they have now, they're going to be a 500 team the rest of the way, probably. They're not going to probably make the tournament. Still going to be exciting to watch. They got Tom Izzo of Michigan State coming in tomorrow. I'm going to be there.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I was
Illinois
there.
at Rec Hall next week.
Yep, exactly. Yep. I was there for last year's game against Michigan State when I was visiting Penn State for the first time. Not a great result. I'm hoping for a better outcome
Full
tomorrow.
circle moment for you, I'm assuming,
Yes,
right?
hopefully. But for the women's team, she's up there on the picture. Tay Valladay, she's done now for the season with an ACL injury, so that obviously stinks. Her career comes to an end, which is heartbreaking, really, for everyone involved. But the Lady Lions themselves, they've been dropping now 3 straight games, like you guys said. Yeah. They've been dropping in the bracketology. I've been keeping my eye on that. They were around a 7 seed when they were on that 6-game win streak. Now they're down to a 9. So, I mean, they're still in the tournament, but you're falling a little bit. Now you're in that 8-9 range where you end up playing South Carolina or UConn, one of the number 1 seeds, which is not good. So, yep.
Right, guys, we're going back into NFL talk here. Penn State and the NFL. Right now, there's 10 players from Penn State's football team going into the NFL draft combine towards the end of the month. So, who do we think will raise their draft stock a little bit? Rocco, let me start with you.
Yeah, so I think as far as the combine goes, it really goes a lot in the measurements and then the testing, and then you want to, for offensive linemen, it's more centered on the measurements. And Olu, obviously, the left tackle from Penn State, is probably going to be a top 10 pick. You're probably not going to see any red flags with his measurements. They're a big dude. So I would expect him to probably rise in the draft stock a little bit, at the combine. Chop and Adisa Isaac as well. I mean, they should test well, I would assume. They're both freakish athletes. I also saw at the Senior Bowl, Chop was winning his reps like 50-50 against some of the top-tier talent in the draft. Those left tackles are stacked, really, this draft class. So I would be pretty positive going into the combine here as far as their draft stock goes. Kayla King, I'm a little worried about. Did not look good at the Senior Bowl. He's getting beat at one-on-one reps pretty consistently, which is tough to win the one-on-one reps in the CB wide receiver. One-on-ones, you don't have help over the middle. The quarterback has plenty of time. However, he was getting cooked a lot even in the team drills. So that's a little worrisome there as far as Kayla King goes. Hopefully he bounces back at the combine. We'll see what happens.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think we all know Olu's going top. Yeah. There's not much he has to worry about. Obviously, still going to go out there and do his best, and he'll be fine. But I definitely think Chop has a lot to grow here. Like you said, I mean, ask him to do it. He is an athlete at heart. That's what. So these tests and these things like that, these more statistical things, this is what really can kind of push them into different areas throughout the draft. I think Theo Johnson as well, again, very athletic. So right now is the time to put that athleticism up on the stage. And I mean, we'll see. I don't see them bumping themselves up that much. I don't see any of these players really making a huge leap, but it's definitely going to help some of them out just to see more of the stat stuff and how they look on paper compared to the not great season that Penn State had.
I think I've been saying this for a couple months, even before the season ended. Adisa Isaac might, and I said this a couple months ago, so I may be a little dramatic now, maybe second round. I said he'd slip into the back into the first round Odafe Owe did a couple years ago. He already just had a ridiculous Senior Bowl. All I was seeing on my feed was how Adisa Isaac was winning in, not even by regional Penn State reporters. It was by national guys that are that's their job is to scout guys like that. And I think he's an athletic freak that he's gonna grade out, I think, ridiculously at the combine. Another guy I think is going to be Daquan Hardy. You don't need to be tall to be a slot corner in the league. Michael Carter II on the Jets, I think, is one of the top 5 slot corner in the league, and he's 5'10".
Yeah.
So I think we all seen him on punt returns. He's got the speed. I think he might grade out good too. But my main guy's Adisa Isaac. I think he might slip in the back end of the first round, especially if he grades out well. And for some reason, Penn State players always go crazy at their pro day. So I'm also interested in that.
I was gonna say whatever they're doing over in that building.
They got a quick timer. That's what it is. They got a quick timer.
Those are some real athletes, not just like football focused, just in general. Like they build really strong athletes here, so I will totally agree with you on that, and I'm excited to see this.
I mean, I like the pro day statistics and all, but like I've seen the comparisons between combine and the pro day. I remember my favorite one, I think, was Michael Thomas. I'm a Saints fan, so I know this. He went from 4.59 his 40 down to like 4.42, and I was like, that is pro day. I was like, that's a little weird. So I think that's kind of how all the colleges operate. Quick timer, they're a little more beneficial to the players, but still hope for some improvement to the combine to the pro day.
All right, guys, we're going to go into our next topic, fact or fiction. We're going to see if these Penn State-related facts, takes are facts or fiction. Who's excited?
I'm born ready.
I don't know. All right, first one. Penn State football will make the playoff next season and win a game.
Where are we starting?
I don't know. Rocco, I think you're ready for this, so go ahead.
So, listen, I think that they make the playoff. However, I think it's as a 10 seed maybe, because it's 12-team playoff. If they're a 10 seed, that means they're going on the road and playing the 7. I don't like their chances playing away from home. I like their chances more at Beaver. I think if maybe they sneak in as I think it would be a top 7 seed or a top 8 seed, they'd be playing at home. Yeah. Then I like their chances. I don't know if they have the firepower on the outside with the receivers. I'm still concerned. I know they got Julian Fleming. I don't know if that's going to be a true number 1 like they really need. And I don't know if they have the weapons outside of him with the way that the running backs just played this last season and the way the offensive line played. Still, the offensive coordinator spot's questionable. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, though. I'm going to give James Franklin the benefit of the doubt that they sneak into the playoff. I don't think that they win a game, though.
Kylee?
I agree with that to some extent. I think, you hear winter workouts are going great. That's what we've been hearing. Like
they always go great.
They say that. And I'm like, yeah, but you say that, and then it gets to September, it gets to August, and it's like, what happened? So I just, based on the recruiting class, which super talented, but I just don't see it happening again. And especially, like you said, even if they make the playoffs, them on the road is so mind-blowing. How a team can do so well at home and then gets on a bus, gets on a plane, travels, and just absolutely loses their mind.
I think last season Ohio State was definitely the biggest one
It's just like, it's stupid things like that they just need to, coaching, having cohesive groups, consistency within that building. I don't see it happening. I would love for it to, but I'm not that hopeful right now.
I think I'm going to agree with Rocco for now and say the first part of that's fact, and then I don't know if they'll win a game. Next season is like the first season in a while where I'm truly like, I don't know what could happen. I think they have the talent. That schedule is just the question mark right now. I think they can go on the road to USC and win that game. I think they can do that. Wisconsin, low-key, is like the game on the road that I'm scared of because they're going to be a better team next year. At home, I think you get a favorable home schedule: Oregon, Ohio State, UCLA.
Washington's in there too. Right?
Yeah, then maybe I'm messing up my schedule a little bit. In there, so, but yeah, you're catching these teams at good times. Obviously, those Pac-12 schools that are coming in are reloading in the transfer portal at quarterback and other positions. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go into that whatever and with only one loss and get a home playoff game. But I think I'm going to be edge on the safe side and go, they'll make the playoff, not win a game, so overall fiction.
Okay.
All right, next team, both men's and women's lacrosse will make the NCAA tournament, and at least one of them will win the lacrosse championship. I'm very hopeful about this one. I think men's lacrosse definitely showed it in the Final Four last time. I don't know, I think they have some just like revenge that they need to do, and I think that goal when the refs called, I think they're coming back for revenge. That's just my take on it, but
I like it.
I don't know. What do you got, you guys?
All right, so I like that take. You kind of stole the words out of my mouth a little bit.
I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about it.
They're gunning for revenge, a team that's feeding off of that type of energy, feeding off a loss like that last year. I like them coming back. Now, obviously, we're only 2 games in. They've lost one of them. So, it's tough to be like, going straight back to the title. So, I'm not ready to declare, stomp my fist, stomp my feet, all that, and say they're winning the tournament. I think that they obviously make the tournament. Right. Same with the women's team. I think the men's team probably is closer to a championship right now in their current state. With that being said, I'm not going to 100% guarantee say that they win it.
It's very early in the season, though. Very early in the season.
I haven't seen enough to say it. Now, I'm laying on the side of caution.
I agree with that. I think, both these teams, one team has physically played one game. So it's so hard to just jump down and be like, yep, they're going.
Right.
At this point right now, I would feel confident saying that the women will make the tournament. I feel confident saying that the men would make the tournament. I don't really think...
You're saying you don't even think they'll make the tournament?
No, I think they both will. But I just don't...
Sweet 16 maybe?
It's so hard because they've played a game that they've won and they've played a game that they lost.
Yeah.
And neither team was really that great. So it's... Right now, the women look great.
It's too early.
It's so early, though. They won 22 to 8 today.
Yeah.
Right now, the women, to me, look really, really good, and the men are still, up in the air because right now they're totally 50-50. So I think they're both making the tournament, but I guess right now I would say I think the women are going to go a little bit farther.
I'm going to switch it up and say fact. I think you two are lowering the vibe a little bit. I think that the men's will go on a run here. I think, like I said, I think they're going to get healthy. It's a hard schedule. They have a hard schedule this year, but I think they're going to get healthy and they're just going to hit a groove. I think they're going to hit some sort of mojo and just go through. And obviously, they still have a huge chip on their shoulder, which so did Notre Dame last year, and they won the whole thing. So. I think I'm going to go fact. I'm going to go fact, and you know what? Let's say both of them win it. Why not?
Okay.
Not actually.
If that were to happen,
One of them will.
That would be exciting.
Yeah.
But, all right, last fact or fiction. Now, this might be, I don't know, very controversial. Raising Cane's is better than Big Dean's. I've never had Big Dean's before, so.
I'm going to start with this because I just don't Cane's is fine. I know people are going to get so mad at me. I don't really like it.
I'm a Chick-fil-A girl at heart, so.
What I like is that they actually have Coke there. They don't have Pepsi. If that's what you want me to say, then yeah, sure. But I just don't really. It doesn't really do it for me.
Okay, so here's what I think about this.
He's very excited to talk about this.
Listen, I will confidently say that Chick-fil-A is better than both.
Oh,
good.
It's not even the same realm.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure we're all there on that. And then I will say that Cane's is better simply because of the sauce. I think that the Cane's sauce makes it.
The sauce.
I think it makes the chicken.
Overrated.
It makes
Thank
the
you.
toast.
I agree.
I think it makes the whole meal. If you just get Cane's without the Cane sauce, I'm going Big Dean's. But the Cane sauce exists. I'm going with Cane's. What's the go-to order though? I want to hear if you guys really know what you're talking about. Or not.
I get hated on for my Cane's order because I go whatever the 3 tender meal is. Whatever I go 3 tenders. Okay. I go with toast.
Okay.
And then I go 3 coleslaws.
3 coleslaws.
That's I'm so not surprised by that.
Why I never feel good about myself walking out of Cane's. I eat it and I'm I feel terrible. I don't feel like a good person. I feel like my life has been ruined every time I eat Cane's. I hear Big Dean's has great employees. I hear that's a great run staff over there. And I'm going Big Dean's is better than Raising Cane's.
The employees? How do you know?
I have insider info.
Okay, interesting.
So Chick-fil-A, Big Dean's, and then Raising Cane's for you?
Chick-fil-A, I'll throw Popeyes in there, and then I'll throw 800 other chicken places, and then I'll throw both of them.
All right, perfect.
Can we respect his? He just said 3 coleslaws. That's insane.
Because I need to put some green in my body after I'm eating deep fried
They
garbage.
put lettuce on their chicken sandwiches. You can get your greens there if you want to go
That
that
is
route.
true.
That's got 3
That is
chicken
true.
strips on it too.
Also, if you need sauce to make everything else good, then it's not good.
Yeah, but the sauce
And
is great.
I'm a condiment guy. I like sauces.
The sauce is elite though. That's the
Okay.
thing. The sauce just
I like a good sauce.
I
like a
love
good
the
sauce.
Chick-fil-A sauce, so
Right.
I don't know.
Chick-fil-A sauce also not good. Overrated. Chick-fil-A honey mustard is better.
Chick-fil-A ranch.
Honey mustard is in Chick-fil-A sauce.
Chick-fil-A sauce
Now
is
you
garbage
started to
too.
warn me. I would do Chick-fil-A
Ranch
sauce.
is my favorite.
The ranch is good.
No,
Thank you.
Chick-fil-A
Good.
buffalo then ranch.
Isn't
And
Chick-fil-A
then
sauce
spicy
mostly honey mustard?
Yes.
I think that's why I used to be a huge honey mustard person when I was younger, and I think I'd lost my taste for it.
I
Interesting.
love honey mustard. Anyway.
I think you should love Chick-fil-A sauce then. I think it
I
tastes
do,
like
but
very
I'd
similar.
rather have Chick-fil-A ranch.
All right, next topic around the state. So there's according to some sources, Pergola is doing absolutely awesome in winter workouts, and there's a chance we might see him more in the season. I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to have Rocco go first.
Okay, well, once again, we talked about it earlier. Everything looks great
Everything
during winter
looks great
workouts.
during the winter.
Everything's all sunshine
It's the
and
winter.
rainbows. Right. It's sunshine and rainbows during the winter. There's never a problem. No one's ever going to say that something looks bad. However, I do want to see Bo Pribs get some more Taysom Hill type packages. Let's get him in and get some read options, some zone reads. Maybe working outside on the bootleg, on a play action. Get him involved there. However, I think that some people kind of have this vision of Pribs where it's oh, this dude should start because he's playing in games that are blowouts against bad teams, and then he's kind of inflating his stats a little bit. So I don't think he should be like the starting quarterback. Should we get him involved a little bit in the Wildcat, get him involved in the offense a little bit more? I would love that. New offensive coordinator maybe looks to do so versus the previous one. So, yeah, that's what I think.
I agree. I think, like you said, it's winter. Everyone looks good in winter.
We said that time and time again.
It's just how it is. I mean, they've been doing great, obviously. I have been saying this for so long that these two quarterbacks are so different. So you really, you can't, Drew Aller is Penn State's starting quarterback. That's a fact. You can't compare the two and say, oh, well, Bo should be starting over Drew because he's just better. If you're, he's going to run the ball. If you want someone to run the ball, put him in. If you want Drew to throw the ball, then you put Drew in.
I like that.
I just feel like if, like you said, new offensive coordinator, hopefully they'll see this change. But sitting at that Michigan game, just watching that's what kept running through my head is switch it up. Put him in. Let him run the ball. If he messes up, he messes up. Move on. Then you put Drew back in. But you can't keep banging and banging at the same quarterback and expecting something to change. So obviously I want to see more of that. But, they're close in age. It makes it very, very hard. So I don't know. I hope to, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, Cade.
I actually didn't think I had that strong of an opinion on this, but I have a lot of points to make. First off, I mean, the reports are Danny O'Brien, the quarterback's coach. He's out there tweeting and another great day for both girls. So that's obviously biased. Obviously, he could be tweeting about Drew or Grunkmeyer or Smolik having great days, but it is Bo 3 straight times now. Second point is Franklin said so many post games last year, we wanted to get Pergola in more packages, but we just couldn't, we can't. They used him in such a boring way last year where it's Drew would sub out and then he would be in the shotgun. It's I wonder what they're going to do. They're probably going to run a QB draw up the middle. Second, but to add to that point, Andel Cottle-Nicky coming from Kansas, they had 2 very good quarterbacks last year in Daniels and Bean, and he ran some ridiculous formations with the 2 of them, in motion, lining up wide. So I'm really excited to see that. Your point about fans want to see Bo over Drew, that's a hate's strong enough to say hate. My fellow students here at Penn State in that crowd stink. They are awful. I had to listen to them all last year cry how bad Sean Clifford was. And then this year they're I wish we still had Sean Clifford. I had to watch Sean Clifford get hurt and Taquan Roberson not be able to throw a football against Iowa last year. It took Iowa 3 quarters to take the lead against us, and we didn't move the ball the entire half. I just cannot stand the other students and the fans that go here because they don't know anything about football. They just want to see touchdowns, but it's not that easy. If it was that easy, I'd be out there.
Are you okay?
That's my strongest take in the world. I got of anything.
It's okay.
You have some water. Does he need some water? He needs some water.
Vein popping out on his neck?
I do that in the stands sometimes. I do that in the stands sometimes. When I hear something dumb, I literally turn around and go at people. I can't stand it.
I agree because what they're putting him in for is the basic X and O, we know we're getting in the end zone. Let's just put someone else in to make it seem different. I get what you're saying about that.
I'm sweating now. I'm sweating.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Breathe in, breathe out. It's okay.
I understand. Wow. That was generational. That was a generational rant. I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
Clip it.
Yeah. All right. Now we have some very exciting news. Students Athletes of the Week, Bridget Nemeth and Bo Barlett. It's exciting, but I'm sorry. Change of topic. Thon's this weekend for Penn State. Thon, very, very excited. Actually, PSN TV has its own Thon Throwing Drive, so if you want to donate, it will be in the link in the description, so definitely go donate for the kids, obviously. I'm excited for Thon. It's going to be my first Thon, so I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, it's my first Thon. I'm in the R&R committee, so I think I have 4 7-hour shifts, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
3 8-hour ones.
Yeah, that's beautiful, right?
So I'll be there from 10 o'clock to 6 a.m. Just
you
really having a time of my life.
Wasn't the girl who sang on Britain last year the performer?
Yeah, there's a lot of different performers.
Yeah, I wonder who's the performer. Who's the?
Cade's got
Okay, Cade. I didn't know.
I heard Andy Grammer's coming this year. I saw a couple of them.
pretty good too.
He is, yeah. I'm excited though.
I love Andy Grammer, so I would be excited for anything. But all right, we have a final shout out. I know it's Chris Reynolds' mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Mrs. Sullivan! Yay! 360 Sports wanted to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Shout out Nick Volpe for telling me that.
She's our biggest fan, by far.
Yeah, she's the biggest fan.
Biggest fan.
Biggest fan. But yeah.
She always has great live chats, reactions,
does.
gets the show going a little bit more. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Stay tuned for tomorrow's show. What is it? Basketball tomorrow? What is it? I think
Yes.
so. I think
Basketball,
so.
right? It is
Basketball.
basketball.
We have
I almost had it too.
some great analysts and hosts tomorrow. So definitely make sure to take a look at that.
Shout out Jeremy's picture. That's beautiful.
Yeah, let's talk about
That's
that picture.
beautiful.
But this is PSU Sports. I'm your host Lily, alongside Cade, Kylee, and Rocco, and we're out.